Oh shit. Time to review one of the greats.
Yeah!
Rewinding time back to the 80s, otherwise known as the greatest decade to grow up in ever, and the NES was in full effect. Around the year 1988, there was a release on the NES by Konami. Nothing too major, we thought at first. Whatever we thought, I was 7 at the time. Just a simple run and gun side-scrolling adventure, we thought. No. And so began one of the greatest video game franchises of all time. Or at least, as history has shown, one of the greatest franchises of the 80s and 90s. As time after that would show this series fade into the past. Contra. Just say the word, and anyone who is a gamer, or who has been a gamer since the 80s will say,
Yeah!
who would have thought, way back then, what this simple game would go on to encapsulate. One of the best memories growing up playing games as a kid. Let's do this. As previously mentioned, Contra was released in 1988 on the original Nintendo Entertainment System. Now, I didn't find out till a few years ago that originally, Contra was an arcade game. I've never played the arcade version, but that's okay. It wasn't until Konami released the home version that this game was cemented into our brains forever.
Yeah!
The story is simplistic enough. In the year 2633, Red Falcon has set up a base near New Zealand in order to start taking over the world. Now, I always just figured the setting was some generic jungle somewhere, and didn't really think that much of it. I mean, does this remind you of New Zealand? It doesn't to me, but that's okay. So, Special Commandos Bill and Lance are sent in to tear shit up and blow the fuck out of everything. From here on out, I'll be referring to the NES version, and there are changes. The NES version takes place in 1987, takes place in the Amazon, which I referenced just a moment ago, and the two playable characters were renamed to Mad Dog and Scorpion. Now, if this game didn't before, these changes made to the home version just screams 80s. Obviously, the graphics were scaled back for the NES version over the arcade version. This also marks one of the first uses of the infamous Konami code. Most people confuse Contra with being the first game that has the Konami code in it, but this is untrue. Gradius was the first game to have it. Basically, at the title screen of the game, you input up, up, down, down, left, right, BA, start. This nets you 30 extra lives instead of the usual 3.
Yeah!
Now, I've used the code I have no fucking idea how many times through random playthroughs and whatnot, but I'll tell ya, back in the day, you were made fun of if you used the code without agreeing on it in the first place. The idea being that you sucked as a gamer if you had to use the cheat code in order to beat the game. So you get dropped into the jungle and we're off and running. Coming at you are enemy soldiers, firing turrets, and exploding bridges. You start off with just a pea shooter, but you'll see the floating weapon drops that come zooming into the screen. These give you upgrades to firepower, machine gun, flamethrower, laser, and the immortal spread gun. When we were growing up, and even today, if you play with someone else, you'll get into fights over whoever actually gets the spread gun. Mainly because, well, it's the fucking spread gun!
Yeah!
You make your way through each stage, and the end of which you'll face a mini-boss. These usually aren't that tough, but can be tricky if you don't pay attention. After you destroy that, you progress onward to the second part of the stage, the vertical sections. During these phases, you're looking at a forward-on perspective, your mission being to destroy the orbs on the wall. You destroy said wall and move forward. Now these parts of the game always fuck me up, because I could never tell if moving forward or standing up is what electrocutes you. I just try not to even touch any other control other than left and right. Enough said. There are 8 stages overall, with increasing difficulty, with Stage 5, Energy Zone, being my most hated. Really?
Yeah!
Those fucking fire jets that shoot out?
Yeah!
Fuck! You end up in the belly of the beast. The belly of a fucking alien? Continue killing creepy crawlies, and then you face off against the giant heart! Destroy it and then get the fuck out of there. The whole island blows up and... Wait a minute. I thought the manual said the game took place in the Amazon. So... that means we just blew up Brazil or blew up the entire fucking continent? I don't know. It's an NES game. Nothing makes sense. I cannot review Contra without mentioning the music. Oh my god. Holy shit. You want to talk about one of the most iconic tunes in video game history? Just play the first level. You'll hear it. First stage music, both parts, are very memorable. Mostly because, as kids, we'd rent the game or someone would own it, and we'd only get to like stage 2, maybe stage 3, before dying. So we really got used to hearing those first few pieces of music over and over and over and over. But we didn't care. It was fucking Contra!
Yeah!
The sound effects are the usual Nintendo fare, but still good. Overall, Contra, as far as I can think, and not discounting the original Super Mario Bros., was really one of the first must-have titles growing up, and really spawned an entire generation of side-scrolling shoot-'em-up enthusiasts. Its premise and gameplay are very simple, yet lasting. That's what the original NES had on its side: simplicity. Simplicity and fun. It's one of the classics. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Go check it out.